Hello everyone, welcome back to my 2015 tutorial. This is our ELF project part 6. So far we have modeled the leg and attached it to the torso, and we have now also modeled most of the arm, but we're working on the hand right now. We've got some of our fingers created, and we need to adjust the shape of the hand before we get too far into this attachment process. So for right now, this is almost okay, but part of the problem is that if you look at your palm on the top there, it's actually kind of rounded. So the pinky is a little bit further back, and each knuckle is progressively further forward just a little bit once you get to the middle finger, and then the pointer finger is just a little bit behind the middle finger. So we need to actually change the shape of the palm here just a little bit before we kind of really get into this. So I'm going to go ahead and just select these vertexes here. I'm just going to turn on soft select, see if I can get this gently to start working on reshaping the palm here. So I'll just pull this out, and it almost takes care of it. I'm going to grab all these middle pieces here as well and just kind of start to pull these out a little bit as well. The general shape is good, it just needs to be a little bit longer. The palm isn't quite big enough. Okay. I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead and reposition these ones. Okay, so this is going to be our wrist right in here in this area, and this is going to be the palm, so remember our thumb is going to come off here after we attach all this in. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our pointer finger over here. Okay, so we need to go to object mode. We're going to select these two, and we'll combine both of them. Okay, so they are now combined. Again, if you are just jumpy in here, I just clicked on this icon on my shelf here. If you go to mesh, combine is right here, but I use my shelf religiously. And if you use modeling a lot, you will too eventually. Okay, so these internal faces here, I'm turn off soft select now. These internal faces, I don't need those. I just need an empty hole to sew this together with. Okay, so now we're back to using our modeling toolkit. So I'll go ahead and jump to that tab on the side here. I'll go to target weld. Okay, I'm just going to use my finger as a target for the subject and the hand as the target. So that way the palm doesn't deform. So I stitch this together. Okay, that looks good. This part here is usually a little bit more tricky. That's going to work. The right angle. A little closer. There we go. There we go. I'm using edges to weld here. You can use vertexes too, it's the same. Just the edges tend to do more work for you. When you get one that's perfect, the next one is also, it'll do that one as well. So you see there's these two here. If I take care of this one, it should also take care of the other one. There we go. So that finger there is all taken care of. I probably want to add in an extra edge loop here, so that way there's some geometry for when I do the bend. For this actually to bend and not just to crumple. Maybe even add one more in here. Okay. Just got a little bit. So for the pad, something here. Okay. Alright, that's looking good. I do want this to be a little more rounded though, so I'm going to actually grab those edges here and pull them over a little bit, see if that helps. to do it by vertex, the edges is still giving me that hard feel I'm trying to get away from. Okay. Adjusting that knuckle there. It's a little too far over, so the geometry is overlapping itself. There we go. These faces here need to go back a little bit as well. So back to the tool settings and turn on soft select. Turn on the two. Just bring this part. 2.2 zoom. Maybe I don't need it on. Let's just adjust it manually. Okay, and I'll do the knuckle part of it. Select those two faces there, and I'll just extrude them together like so, and just a little bit up, give me a little knuckle. Okay, that's good. Go ahead and test the smooth version, see what that looks like. Okay. It's a little bit wonky on top here. I think I don't have enough roundness on the top here, so I'll grab these edges here and just translate them up a little bit. You're doing edges, you end up having some extruding edges is more of a hard look when it's done, so sometimes you have to go back to vertexes. That's what I'm doing right now. Okay. Okay, see what it looks like now. Alright, that's a little more believable. I can deal with that. Okay, back. So what I'm doing here, if I didn't mention it before, and I think I did, but just in case I didn't, I'm jumping back and forth between Smooth Preview and my regular mesh here. Smooth Preview is not what your mesh will actually render as. It's just letting you see what your mesh will look like when you smooth it. So you can adjust your geometry to make it to where when you smooth it to be your final model, that it will look the way that you are envisioning it. And that way you don't have to drive in a ton of geometry to capture the look you're after, because you know in the end you'll eventually get that look. Okay, let's go ahead and add in just an extra edge loop in here. Okay. Okay, I think we're ready to go forward. Do the next one here. Leave these faces. Alright. Push it back a little bit. It needs to be behind the ring finger here. Okay, that looks good. Combine these two. Jump back into my modeling toolkit, and I will now use my target weld again. And again, just trying to grab that edge right there. Another method I could use, I can go inside the mesh and do it. Sometimes that scares my students when I do that. I think it's so complicated, but it's really not. It's actually kind of fun. So for instance, if you want to go inside the mesh like this and fix your stitching that way and close it up that way, it's like an old 80s movie, right? Okay, and that is all connected now. I just need to go through and do a little shaping, make the knuckle, and make this look a little more believable. Okay, so back to okay, so I had to deactivate my target weld tool. It was still on. I'm looking for something to weld. Also, I like to point out, if you guys aren't doing this, you guys really need to start doing it. You need to use hotkeys a lot to get between your manipulators. Your translate tool, scale tool, all those tools. I use them all the time, so I'm not mentioning that. Use your translate tool and go and clicking on the icon. I just use the hotkeys W, E, and R. Those are your hotkeys for move, scale, rotate. Get comfortable with using those. You need them to work for you. They'll speed up your workflow tremendously rather than having to go over here and keep clicking on your move and rotate and scale. What I'm doing here right now is just rounding my duplicate finger. Trying to give it a more organic look. And when you do it by hand, I know some of you thinking, like, why don't you just do it really well with one of them and then duplicate it? But then none of your fingers look the same. So typically these are one of those things that you kind of want to do individually, just so that you have the look of somewhat the look anyways. We know that, like, I did duplicate them earlier on, but it'll make it to where it looks like there's some difference going on here. Okay, so let's go back to audit mode. Let's go ahead and smooth preview, see how this is looking. Okay, it's believable. Alright. And now I just need to prep this area for the knuckle. Okay, let's go ahead and extrude this part here. Oops. So the face has got in there. Oh, sorry. Could hit my extrude tool and kept wanting to throw in those two faces on the finger, and I definitely didn't want that to happen. Okay. Alright, that's looking good. Alright, last finger. I'm going to go ahead and delete off these spaces here. We don't need that. Delete this. Go ahead and combine these two now. Oops. Accidentally hit mirror. Okay, so now this one's ready. I think that actually the pinky needs to be a little bit closer. It's not attached yet, so I can grab them by faces. I can't use object mode anymore because it's the same object, but I can use faces to adjust this. Okay, there we go. Now I can target weld this together. Let's go ahead and go jump inside the hand. There we go. And we just grab this piece here. I kind of feel like this this pinky needs to come in just a little bit. Looks like it's shouldn't be quite that thick on that side. There we go. I'm more satisfied with that. Okay. Turn back to soft select. Prep this area for the knuckle. did it again. I don't know why he's hopping over and wanting to add these in here, but definitely don't want that. Yeah, that was pretty reasonable. I'm going to add in that extra edge loop on both of these guys though. This one over here, and this one over here, and I'll have to go through and just adjust some of these vertexes so that a little more rounded again. Okay. I think that's going to work. I think he needs a little bit of work. I think it's just the vertex position. This just needs to be a little more in line. No, just yeah, that's better. Okay. Now you can add pads on the bottom of the hands, but right now it's not necessary. So we're going to hold off on that. Probably a detail we'll add in a little bit. Let's address the thumb. The thumb is a completely different animal, and you definitely want to make sure that comes out correctly. So we're going to need some more geometry in the center here. So I'm going to drop in an edge loop around here, and maybe one more right here. Okay. All right. So the thumb, it's like these guys here. That thumb comes out like this. So we need to extrude off the side faces here. And typically you want to just quite a bit of muscle in the palm by the thumb. So I'm going to kind of prep the area by pulling this geometry out a little bit. Get it kind of ready for the thumb. Okay. This should be okay actually. Let's see, the thumb comes off right there. I don't think that's quite low enough. I think that this goes back a little bit. And I had another edge loop right here. Maybe that'll give me the kind of geometry I'm looking for. Don't be afraid to add in the geometry that even if I didn't add it in, you feel like you need it to get the shape you're after. Feel free to go rogue and make your hand or elf look how you need it to look. I've done myself a few times, and every time I do it a little bit differently. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and start with my first extrusion. This one's going to come out. Scale it together slightly. Push forward slightly. I'm actually going to rotate these faces as well. Okay, scale again together. Okay, that looks good. I want to round the sides here so that as we go forward, I won't have to continuously round stuff to fix the geometry. It'll hopefully continue on down the line and look more natural. Okay, also the thumb should be some more meat in this area, so let's go ahead and beef this area up a little bit. Okay. So now we're going to extrude again. This part's going to be the knuckle of the thumb. So we're going to do one like that. We're going to hit G, and this one's going to be a little bit bigger. Not that much bigger, just a little. And then G again. I'm going to it's going to be the thick part for the nails. So it's going to be a little skinnier. Definitely skinnier in the height, so it's going to come down. And I'll do one more here. This will be the end of the thumb. Okay, so there's obviously some roundings, maybe some adjustments here. I'm just rounding this thumb off, just taking the edges and making sure it doesn't look like a square come out the side here. Okay, so let's see what we got going on here. Let's just smooth it and see what we're looking at. Doesn't look too bad. This doesn't look quite right there. It's too much of a pinch. So this needs to come out. Same thing over here. Okay, let's see what we're looking like now. Alright, that's about right. These need to actually be moved forward a little bit too close to the hand. This is like where the bone should be for the first knuckle. And then this would be the nail right here, so I want to add in a nail to this spot. Do that again if you want to. Okay, so I've done the hand, and after looking at the hand at a distance, I kind of realized his hands are way too small. Easy enough to deal with. I should be able just to grab all of these faces here and scale them up. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take all these faces right here and scale them up. I'm kind of just making sure the hand's about the right size from this view. Because I know the arm wasn't quite long enough. That's part of the reason why we scaled this thing down. But yeah, that looks right now that I got that. I just got to fix the wrist area. It's good to go. So this whole face loop here, scale that down. Take all these vertexes and just move them down as well. There we go. I gotta fix this part here. This isn't going great. So let's do the soft select stuff. Let's go ahead and see if we can get look a little more natural with soft select. Okay, go with 0.5. And it's okay that I'm adjusting the forearm here. I mean, there should be it shouldn't be a straight line back here anyhow. So. Okay, that's looking good. This needs to come in a little bit, but not a soft slump because I can't have the surrounding one going in. I'll flatten these ones out a little bit, translate them up. That'd be a good job for soft select. Same thing up here. Again, flatten that palm out. Doesn't have to be perfect. Organic objects have a little bit of variance all over them, so that actually looks okay. Okay, so looking good here. I'm going to try and just normalize these guys here since some of these faces are looking a little rough. Soften these edges. Yeah, that's a little better. Do the same thing over here. There we go. That's better. I don't know if you guys saw, but maybe if I back up, I can show you what I'm talking about. What I was doing here, because sometimes when you're modeling, you're attaching stuff, you end up with this funky look going on here where you can see this edge here. This is where the leg was attached. That's just because there's hard edges still there. And to solve that is all I did is just select the faces for where that problem was. Went up to normals and went to soften edge, and that took care of that. I can't see it anymore. Same thing, that's what I just did over here as well. I just noticed where the fingers were attached, there are hard edges there as well. So it does kind of look a little bit like there might be hard edges just because you can see the knuckles. but that's not something I'm worried about right now. Okay, so we are at 30 minutes. We finished up the hand. I think that next lesson we will be ready to attach it to our torso here and build up the shoulder region and maybe work on the chest a little bit as well. We'll see. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.